Hello. It's 10:27 p.m. here in beautiful Shelbina, Missouri. Um, on the drive back here today, this evening actually, I was reminded of something so incredibly cute that I had seen. Actually, a few times though, far in between, more than once in this area. This is adorable, and I guess this might be somewhat of a maybe editorial rant. Um, there's this bumper sticker on the back of a pickup truck, as I remember correctly, if I do, um, and it said, "We the people are PO'd," and they used the full terminology. Um, I have one question, yes, just one question concerning that. So what? Who cares? Who cares? Do any of you see any of the selected officials, elected, yeah, elected officials, duh. But do any of you see any of the selected officials trembling in their boots just because you're angry? Um, do you see it? And even at that, so what? Um, there's not enough that has the chutzpah anymore to stand up and do an old-fashioned protest and maybe, but probably not, get something accomplished, or even just the illusion of getting something accomplished, number one. And number two, who cares? They're not trembling. Um, they don't care. Those will come along who will talk a good game. But that's all they're doing, is talking a good game. Um, who cares? The only person that really cares, or the only people that really care about the American people, we the people, being PO'd, I will say, is the one who made the money off of selling those bumper stickers. Those are the only ones who cares. And we the people. Okay, hold on to your boots if you're wearing any, because I'm going to give it to you as I learned it as a child, okay? Pardon me. Okay. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice and assure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty. To ourselves and our posterity do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. And quite frankly, people, I believe it was in 1931 that Franklin Delano Roosevelt declared a national state of emergency in this nation, which voids the Constitution anyway, puts it on hold. It's shoved off over to the side. And in just a quick look, which I did a little bit ago, so many states of emergency have been called for so many different things. This is Franklin Delano Roosevelt, I know for sure, and I'm quite sure it was in 1931, but then another in 1941. And then there was states of emergency called by President Jimmy Carter. And then there was many states of emergency called by Mr. Barack Obama. You can take that Jesuit um, finagled constitution, as it were, which so many people stand on. I have a constitutional right. No, you don't, because we're in a state of emergency. You can take that and just put it in file 13, because that's all the good that it will do. But that kind of tickled me. Every time I had come up behind that vehicle, it must be a somewhat local vehicle, and seeing that bumper sticker, I thought, well, good for you. So what? I have other things going on in life right now, and my state of emotions concerning the condition of we the people is not going to help me any. It isn't going to change anything. My thing is, dear Lord, just help me, just bring me through, take me through until either you kill me or you call us up, call us home. Just get me through, help me through. That's my thought on it. The economy's bad. The economy's horrible. Nobody has any money. Nobody can afford to do anything. And all these things are so terribly bad. I see people residing in government subsidized housing that drive better cars than I ever thought of owning, or newer, more expensive than I ever owned in 55 years. And I started driving at 16. My first car was bought when I was 15 in preparation. There are more people walking around in designer clothing who evidently can't afford to eat because they have food stamps, residing in government subsidized housing while collecting whatever and maybe working a job outside of that. If you can afford a $200, $300, $400, $500 car payment a month and the full coverage insurance that it costs to carry that, then maybe you're dealing with an issue of priority mess up. Perhaps you don't need that subsidized housing as badly as you may pretend you do, but since you can get it, you take it. How do I know? Well, on some of the government programs in the past, that was kind of my attitude. I don't really need it, but if I can get it, I will take it. Not very much and not very often. There's a program for low-income senior citizen help of sorts called NECAC. It's an acronym, and what they do is they pay assistance yearly for cooling in the summer and heating in the winter. The year that I worked Super 8, I had a little bit of money. I didn't really need it, and I wasn't richer by any means, but okay, I didn't apply for it that year. I just let it slide by. I didn't use it last year. I was okay. Well, I'm going to use it this year, but when I see stuff like that, what is up with that? Well, once again, the economy is in such a horrible shape, and everything's so bad and so messed up, and nobody can afford anything. Okay, I'm driving back from Brookfield, and I have this nice newer looking truck pass me by, oh big old truck, oh. And it has this lovely, big, beautiful, expensive looking boat on it. Okay, but you can't afford anything. No one can afford anything. Number one, how much extra gas does it take to haul that load? How far are you going? Where are you going to? Oh, people need to have the recreation. They've got to have their enjoyment. They got to have. No, you don't. No, you don't. You will not die. I guarantee you. Ask somebody living in a back alley or under a bridge. Um, Wants are many, needs are few. But you can't afford anything. Let's go through. Let's trim down your truck payment. Let's trim down your car payment. Let's trim down your insurance. Let's trim down your housing expenses. How many unnecessary fast food trips do you make? How much money do you spend on fast food rather than cooking? So I don't do fast food at all. Myself personally, the most I will end up doing is maybe stopping at a convenience store to buy a cup of coffee. Now, 9 times out of 10, I can make a pot of coffee here at the house, put it in a carry jug, that you might put water in or Kool-Aid or something like that to take along with you to drink. Make up coffee, fill that up, carry it with me. I'm not saying I never stop at a convenience store for that, because I do. But yet, there are so many easy ways to cut corners. But everyone is so broke, and no one has any money, and no one can afford anything. But you can go in debt for a vehicle that's a few $100s a month plus full coverage insurance for 3 to 5 years, and stay in a continual amount of debt, trading up as the time comes. I don't get it. I do not get it. Now then, food prices are going up. Petrol, gas prices have gone up. Housing prices, clothing prices, everything. Inflation. Okay. I've been hearing the moanings and the bewilderments, spit it out, about inflation ever since I was old enough to remember, and my memory does accurately go back to the early 70s. So what? So what? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? So what? And me, myself, being halfway crippled up and being slothful, I gotta give me that because it's the truth. Get out there, start your garden, a little garden. Grow vegetables out there in a spot in the yard or something. That will cut down some on your grocery bill, and then you might halfway know what's in them. Still going to be poisoned by the time a person buys the pesticides and the seeds, which are poison to begin with, unless you go and get the ones that aren't. And then the fertilizer, if you'll use any, unless you use natural and straight from, and you know where it come from, then it's going to be poison too. But nonetheless, that's a way to cut food expenses. But then again, that wouldn't be good enough. So we have to go to the Proverbs 31. Okay, we have wives out there. Those glasses don't sit right on my face. One ear's lower than the other anyway. We have the Proverbs 31 woman. Okay, let me stop a moment. I think I'm going to look that up right quick. Okay, train of thought theater, so let's go. Proverbs 31, beginning at verse 10. Probably read to the end of the chapter, verse 31. Okay, so these are the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. That was verse 1. Now down to verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies? The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. Here, 13. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. Now there is a sister who is out there who does know how to crochet, and she does. It's really a shame that she doesn't or couldn't find a way to sell her goods. I've seen her merchandise. It is good. 14. She is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth the field, and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. So she worked into the night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry, her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She maketh fine linen, and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up, and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Now then, favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. Now then, what this means today is, you go out there, you get a man's job, and you excel in that as much and as high as you can. But while you are out there working that man's job, rather than doing what it says right here in Proverbs 31, then there's a man out there who is having trouble making it and can't support his family because you have a job that would financially take care of his needs for himself and his family. But see, the thing is also, chances are that his wife is out there working as well, taking up someone else's job, another man's job, so that they can satisfy their lusts. Wants are many, needs are few. Now then, I had a grandmother-in-law, and I don't think the woman was ever saved. I don't think she was ever saved. She and my grandfather-in-law, they resided in a small town. She had a sister that lived in a house right behind her. They owned a little bit of land in that small town. She considereth a field, and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. That grandmother, she planted gardens. She raised vegetables. She raised food. I don't know that she did not give to the poor, and I don't know that she did not sell of the excess. But she, not even being a saved woman, nor necessarily a good woman, she did this. But she quilted. She, my grandmother, wicked, evil, devil-filled witch that she was, she would buy materials, she would buy patterns, she would cut and sew and put together clothing for her children, having gone through 9 children by the time it was all said and done. They had a garden. I don't know for sure who tended it, but with that many children, I'm sure you would have help throughout time. Of course, that was over a period of time. They run from 77 to about maybe 56 or 7. So that's a little bit of a stretch there. And train of thought theater. You all know how I am. Those of you that have listened to me before or watched, you know how I am. Now we're going to circle back around, and we're going to go back around the block to the beginning. We the people are PO'd. Who cares? Who cares? The only thing you're doing is showing your idiocy to begin with. You're not going to change anything. It's not going to happen. And once again, the only person who might care or have any concern at all is the ones that sold you that bumper sticker and whomever else. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. None. Nada. None. Be PO'd all day long. I'll cope with it. I'll deal with it. I have other things to concentrate on, especially at the moment. It isn't going to change. This next selection, and I'm kind of looking out the window over there, but this next selection, not election, they will come. The Jesuits will very well put whomever in office it is that they choose they want to put in, regardless of what the votes are, and there'll be cries of voter fraud and scams and ballot miscounting, and which may or may not all be true. It probably is, but you know what? Bottom line, it doesn't matter. My great-grandfather died in the middle 80s, my mother's grandfather. He had sense enough to know by then and before then that your votes don't count. They do not count. It's all a fraud. It's all a charade. But it sure does get Mr. Trump press, does it not? Fake news? Yes, he should know what fake news is, because not only is he involved in it, but he's a purveyor also. So of course he can call it out. As someone once said, we know our own. As they used to say, takes one to know one. So in order to get to the position that he was in to begin with, he is one of them. It's an exclusive club, and you don't just get in because. I find that amusing. Sometimes, I've seen that bumper sticker like 3 to 5 times, and sometimes I've thought, so what? At other times I would think, so what? Who cares? What are you going to do? I find it not one bit funny, but completely laughable. I think the best thing that I have seen, at least within the past few years, was, I saw it twice. Once it was on a bumper sticker, and then another time it was on the rear window of a pickup truck in letters. You know how they put the individual letters up there and make the words, and what it said was, "Dirty hands, clean money." That one I appreciated. And for the man who had the bumper sticker on his car that said that, I got to see him and I got to tell him, I really like that. I appreciate that. Because what does that mean? Dirty hands, clean money. It means you worked for it. You got it honest. I like that. We the people, which is all one big joke anyway, be as angry as you care to be all day long. It makes no difference. This nation is sold out to the Jesuits, to Catholicism. This nation is sold out to the adversary, Satan. You're not going to make any difference. It doesn't matter. Oh, you're a messenger of gloom, doom, and despair, and yes, and it is hopeless. The only thing that's going to happen now is when it finally does hit, and boy, it's been accelerating, perhaps it is already, is this nation will hit a downward spiral. It's just a matter of speed at this point. Um, we've been going downward for years, and it's like, they used to talk about the frog that you put in the pan of water, and the water it's okay, it's cold, and then you slowly turn the heat up, and rather than jumping out because the water is hot, the frog becomes acclimated to the water temperature as it rises until it gets hot enough to boil it and kill it. I have seen many changes over my 55 years. Anyone who would really know, who would be alive and still have half an amount of sense to them, would be maybe someone in their 90s who has lived all of these years and has seen the gradual changes take place and has paid attention. I've said before and I say again, I don't quite know why the powers that be are allowing us this facade of freedom that they tell us that we have. I know that this nation is being shown mercy because God still has his children here. Once the catching away happens, once we are called up, come up hither. Y'all are done. You are done. D-U-N, stick you with a fork. You're done. Once we are gone, it's in a state of judgment right now, but for those who are younger, they may not be able to see or realize just how much it has progressed and how bad it actually is. Those of us who are a little older, and then those who are older than us, this nation is in a state of God's judgment right now. Once we are caught up, we are called up and caught up, then he's going to unleash his wrath for 7 years. And if you have any sense and you think that things are bad right now, weather, government, etc. and so forth, the whole world is going to be experiencing the wrath of God. And you all have no idea. You have no idea. Now is the time to put the salvation message out there. And which is true. That's the only hope that you have, is in the Lord Jesus Christ. So, go to the church building and kneel down at that old-fashioned altar and repeat the pious poem after the pastor that is standing up from behind the pulpit, and mean it with all of your heart. Jeremiah 17, 9 and 10. No. If you watch this far, I don't know that I'm even going to put it in the description box. But I will say, get on YouTube. Take yourself to Accountable KJV. For one, watch the video entitled Let's Reason Together, or Let Us Reason Together. Look and see what the Lord hath given the man that is concerning salvation on there. Find out what it's about. Then go to the Lord. Because Lord God Almighty, he's no fool for playing. Play with him. Play with him. You will wind up here going through the time of Jacob's trouble, and then after that, you won't make it all the way through, but after that, then you will go to hell, and you will await the great white throne judgment, where you'll be cast into the lake of fire, and the Lord God is going to laugh at you and mock you the whole time. Go ahead on. Go ahead on. We are such a great godly nation. Yes, the God of this world. Um, as I said, mine for me is, in spite of the government, in spite of the inflation, in spite of everything that looks as it does, Lord God, just take me through, get me through until either one, you kill me and take me home, or two, you call us up out of here. Um, he's been merciful thus far. I have not done without a whole lot. And we might categorize what I have done without as wants, because my every need is met. Need, greed. Wants are many, needs are few. So, and want could be categorized as desire or lack thereof. Most of the stuff that I want, or lack as in want, it doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't matter. And so much for this little rant. I think I am going to go ahead and put this on the YouTube. I will watch it first. But, you know, just the ridiculousness of that, I felt compelled, and that's me, to comment to begin with on the ridiculousness of such a stupid statement, bumper sticker. So what? So what? Who cares? Are the congressmen, the governor, other Congress people, governors, senators, president, are any of them trembling in their boots because you, no matter how many of you there are or are not, are PO'd, angry? No. They're still drawing their salary just the same and living as fine a life as you please. I got better things to concentrate on. I have other things to concentrate on, to deal with, to think about right now. Well, I've gone past 30 minutes on a rant, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this off for now. I will watch it and see, and then I will upload and put it on the channel the Lord hath given me. For now, bye-bye. Have fun. Later.